Hey, Project Based. It's time to look at some jQuery. I'm very confident in what I'm about to show you. Woo! JavaScript. Alright, let's do this thing. Real talk, I recorded the entire video before while music was playing. This is Julian Lage, by the way. He's a fantastic jazz guitarist. And this song is called Persian Rug. But anyway, the music was so loud you wouldn't have been able to concentrate on my vast intelligence regarding jQuery. Notice all these tabs up here that say jQuery. They have nothing to do with my limited knowledge of jQuery. No, okay, so to be honest with you, I don't remember a lot of the syntax of jQuery. What's important, I guess, as your teacher, is that I know that it is important that you have an understanding of a JavaScript framework and that you can make a website that's at least somewhat interactive. And there are a couple of other things I know that will maybe help you understand how this all works and maybe comes together in the end, hopefully. But you know, this was not my profession. It is not my profession, so I definitely got gaps in my knowledge. But I can Google this stuff, which you can too. So hey, you know what? That's just enough rambling. Let's get started. First thing I noticed in a lot of your projects, and I'm continuing to give you all video feedback. A few people have their video feedback. I haven't given everyone video feedback as of this video, but I will. So look for that. And in that video feedback, one of the first things I say is, you know what would be nice is if you put your Bootstrap stuff in it, or if you put your HTML in a container, courtesy of Bootstrap, because this will make your website a little more in control, a little more controllable. We'll put our horizontal, you know what, get rid of this horizontal line. It's just not necessary anymore. We've moved beyond horizontal lines. This next song is ArcLight. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay. Let's save this and see what happens to our web podge. Julian Lage web podge. Okay, so maybe it looks like all that happened is that we put things I don't know a little further in, but actually what we get is a little more containerized web page, and basically everything's kind of within this big container now. And if we go to class container, we can see that that basically covers all of it. Why am I don't want to be in mobile mode. Okay, so this takes our whole site, at least this portion, right? I guess we could throw the body in there as well. Here, we'll move this down. Just put this whole body. Is that right? That's weird. Okay, well, you know what, we had it right the way that this is right. Okay. All right, moving on. So one thing that I noticed while I started this was that you guys already have jQuery. If you use this Bootstrap template I told you to use, you've already got jQuery in your site. That's great. So you don't have to worry about including it. You can just start to use it. Yeah. And in this example, notice I've got my, I want you to see as well that I've got my custom styles below my Bootstrap. This position is important, and I'll talk about that later, but it's important that any custom JavaScript, any custom Bootstrap styling that you write comes after your CDN call. So this is the CDN call for Bootstrap. This is the CDN call for jQuery, okay? So make sure that it comes after, that this comes after Bootstrap, and then when I do my next script down here, which was going to be some jQuery, make sure that comes after the CDN call. Okay, let's get started with a little bit of that jQuery action. Okay, so let's do just something really basic with jQuery so we can get an idea of what the heck is going on as we do this. We're going to hide some elements. Easy peasy. All right, first thing I need, this $ symbol is going to be ubiquitous, meaning it's going to be all over the place when I'm writing jQuery. So that could be an issue if you forget it. There you go. Could be your syntax error. Like I said, jQuery is based in JavaScript, so it shares a lot of stuff with JavaScript, but not everything. All right, first thing we've got to type for any script is document.ready, and then function. Okay, so this is where we're going to be putting our functions that we want to run on this web page. So, what does this mean right here? Well, when it says document, this jQuery is referencing the HTML document. Why is it called a document? Well, outside of the obvious fact that it's a bunch of words on your screen, I mean, that's kind of a document, right? It's also part of what we call the document object model. Okay, the document object model, commonly truncated as DOM, okay, is the hierarchy and structure of every web page on the internet. And it looks a little bit like this guy. So when I'm talking, oh, here's my bigger picture. Okay, so when I'm talking about the DOM, what it means is that every web page is built in this hierarchical and traversable manner. What does it mean for it to be traversable? I can traverse it. I can move across it, up, down, left, right. I can traverse it, okay? So this is the hierarchy, right? Every web page starts with the root element of HTML, which you can see right here, okay? And then as we move down into the HTML, notice how we tab in constantly? Well, that's for a reason. It has nothing to do with the computer trying to interpret our web page, obviously. It has a lot to do with us as human beings being able to see the structure. Okay, so this is the body, right? That's this element. And as we move further in, we find these other elements that are within the body. So an example would be like if we have a link, like an A. So if we do A, href, HTTPS. Okay, that creates a link for google.com, this is a Google link, right? There's our Google link text. I mean, we can see that happen. I think you know what happens, don't you? Yay, that's a link to Google. Woo! So this is part of the hierarchy. And then all these divs are also part of this hierarchy, as is the H2. And each of those elements has some kind of text, or it has an attribute. So in this case, with the A, right, with the element A, its attribute is href and its text is Google link. Why does that matter? Well, when we start to work with code that is going to interact with our web page, we need to be able to traverse this hierarchy and access elements within this hierarchy. So this hierarchical format is called the DOM. And what does it mean when we say document.ready function? Well, essentially that's JavaScript or jQuery for make sure before you run any of the underlying code, like any code that comes past this point, we have to make sure that the DOM, the document, is ready to receive that code. Okay? And I think I said it on the lecture and I said it incorrectly that your script should go at the top, and that is incorrect, okay? I forgot, but I've been reminded by my brain that when you write these scripts, you put them at the bottom. And the reason you put them at the bottom like this is if you are, well, let me rephrase. When we're doing this real basic stuff, we're going to write them at the bottom. But when we load our page, let's say we have some complicated JavaScript going on that actually takes a little bit of time. Well, you don't want that happening. You don't want that JavaScript running and slowing your page down if all it's supposed to do on first view is just show some text. So if you just want to show the user this page, but you need to have other stuff going on in the background, which is going to make it even better, like you don't want that even better stuff to delay just showing the text, because that creates a bad user experience. No one wants to wait for your website to load all of its nonsense, okay? No one wants to wait for your website to load 40 megabytes of like weird music that will loudly blare in their speakers as soon as everything pops up, right? No one wants that. So, yeah, make sure that you put this stuff at the bottom, and then importantly, put your custom scripts below all the CDN stuff. Put your custom style sheet your styles.css below the Bootstrap CDN. Eventually, we're going to make another file in this web page or in this folder called scripts.js, and we'll reference that because we don't want to have a bunch of scripts just sitting in our HTML. But for this basic stuff, we're going to do this right here. Okay, in the next video, we'll actually write some jQuery that does something, I promise.